Let me introduce to you Blasphemy. This thing is everything that the lever action purists love to hate. Of course, you could tell why. There is no wood left. This thing's got all sorts of accessories. Matter of fact, the name Blasphemy came from the comment section. The fella said, "That's Blasphemy," and I replied, "Thanks for naming my rifle, buddy." Of course, this is the Henry X model, chambered in 4570, the only government I trust. And you can tell this bad boy has got so much attitude, it walks up to other rifles and pushes them over and makes the bullets fall out. What's up, guys? I am glad that I bought this thing over 2 years ago. At the beginning of the coof, you could actually let a lever action sit on the shelf. This thing was sitting there and it wanted me to bring it home so badly, and I said, "Man, you just need to leave some money in the bank. Try back in a week." So I called down there, and a week later it was still there, and I said, "Man, put that thing back. I will be there in about 15 minutes. And it has been a love affair ever since. I have had so much fun with this rifle. It has gone on multiple adventures. It's been to Texas twice. It's went to the Chris Costa tactical lever action class. It's put meat in the freezer. I rolled a hog in the swamps of Savannah. I've gotten to test multiple parts for multiple companies, and I have had a great time doing it. Of course, you can tell this thing is decorated out, man. What we're going to do is we're going to go over all of these parts. We're going to go over my sighting systems. We're going to look at everything I've got on here, and of course, I'm going to tell you about a couple of adventures. So you guys stay tuned. And boom, there is Blasphemy in all her glory. I have got this thing literally covered from one end to the other in Ranger Point Precision goodness. I've got their Ranger Point Precision Comet muzzle brake. I really like this. It's threaded 5/8. It actually does reduce the recoil a great amount. You can actually watch it when I'm shooting it. The gases come out in like this, kind of like an X pattern. 4570 is known to have a little bit of recoil, and it's a really nice way to tame it. Of course, when I'm trying to run quiet, I keep either my Silencer Co. Hybrid 46 on here or my JK Armament 155. So definitely good options for taming the recoil and or noise. And then as for this handguard here, of course, that is from Ranger Point Precision. You put quivers on here. You can use the M-LOK, put flashlights on here. You can put rail attachments, and if you're brave, that rail attachment can hold a freaking flamethrower. This is the Pulse Fire from Exothermic Tech. This thing is really freaking cool. I've got the M-LOK attachment on here. If you don't want to put it on a gun, they've actually got a handle that comes off and back, and you can hold the handle. And of course, you hold it up here up front where your button is. So yeah, this thing is really cool. I got some future footage coming up of this. I cannot wait. I'm going to have that video out, and hopefully it turns out to be freaking awesome. Now, as for this rail, this is the XS Sights lever rail for the Henry. This fits the 4570 round barrel models. There's a little bit of confusion as to what all it does and doesn't fit. Now, there's also a subcategory there too. There is a screw-on and there is a dovetail. This one being the X model, this is the screw-on. Now, your other ones will have the dovetail, so you'll have a separate sight kit. This ghost ring right here and the front sight are included in that. Now, you can get just the rail a la carte, just by itself. Now, if you do that, it will prove to be an excellent platform for multiple optics. You know, I ran just the ghost ring when I went to the Chris Costa class because I said, hey, you know, just for the ultimate in speed, the ghost ring would definitely be awesome. Of course, the ghost ring is a bomb-proof thing. And of course, if you're from Alaska and you want a 4570 for self-defense against grizzly and other large charging animals, Alaska is the state of things that will eat you. But this right here, this rear ghost ring, is really quick. There are no batteries. It's really sturdy. It's something that would absolutely hold up and do the trick. And of course, I've had several optics on this. I've had a couple LPBOs. I now have this Primary Arms RS10 on here. This is just an excellent base for just multiple optics. It gives you plenty of room to move them out there, put a scout scope out here, blah, blah, blah. The options are endless. And of course, when it comes to XS Sights, I really like XS Sights. Everything's made in America. They've got sights for your Glocks, for all sorts of models. I know I've got their front sight on my 627 Smith & Wesson. Just a ton of great stuff. Now that right there, my wife did that for me for Father's Day last year. She actually took and looked at my Marlin Dark, the factory Paracord wrap right there, and she mimicked it, and it came out almost just dadgum perfect. I really like that, basically because having that large loop as your fingers slam down into it, it just gives you a little bit of padding. It's not a lot of abuse to your fingers, but your nerve endings definitely do tell that you're not beating on there. Now there's a part in here that you cannot see, and it's a trigger kit from Ranger Point Precision. What it consists of is a new sear and a new spring. Now what that sear and spring are intended to do are to reduce your creep and take a little bit of your trigger pull out. I'm seeing about a pound drop on my Henry X. The Henry X was breaking about 3 3/4 just because of a ton of use. Now I'm breaking down about 2 3/4. My Henry All-Weather 3030 was breaking about 5 1/2. Now it's breaking about 3 1/2. So on a brand new rifle, boy did it absolutely knock a lot off of it. And it's a really nice kit, and so far I'm really liking it. I've got 3 more on the way for the rest of my rifles. That way I don't have to start swapping sears and all that every time. I can just put them in and just forget about it. Now as for this quick takedown screw, I like it because toollessly I can take this thing apart, pull my lever out, pull my bolt out right there in the field because I shoot suppressed, right? Well, this is backing up junk. You back up gases, you back up junk. So I do have the capacity to back up a lot of stuff in my receiver. And this right here, if I'm out in the field and I get stuck, just a really cool way, really quick way, and I don't have to have any extra tools in the backpack. Now this hammer extension right here is a very nice safety piece. That one comes from Ranger Point Precision as well. Now if you're going to run any kind of optic on here, you know, your eyepiece is going to stick off about here. You want to be able to get a good purchase on your hammer. So if you can't get your thumb up there because the optic's in the way, then you're likely to have a negligent discharge by decocking or cocking it. So what this does is it allows you to get a really good purchase out there. Of course, they've put a really nice diamond pattern in there. That thing right there is solid. I like it. It mounts, it's low profile, and it will save your bacon. Now, a really fun hunt that I took this thing on was in the swamps near Savannah, Georgia. I went down with a buddy named Martin. We were on a large tract of land that used to be a cane farm, and it was full of history, full of old home sites, and covered with wildlife. There's white-tailed deer, there were hogs, I even saw some alligator skulls laying around. Kind of makes you think about getting off the beaten path, you know, getting into an alligator or something. But anyway, we were down there, and that place just proved to be a ton of fun. We rode around on the side-by-side, and I'm talking just hog heaven.
So I told Martin while he was taking a nap that I went ahead and let 2 walk because I wasn't ready for the evening to be over with. And now he's not happy with me.
Of course, we got in the condo overnight. It's a really tall, built on stilts, blind. You open the front window up, and right out front is the feeder, and he keeps them fed all year long. So we poured out a 5-gallon bucket of corn and sat in the blind and waited. The sun went down. When the sun goes down, that place is dark. It's the swamp. I mean, the canopy is thick, so there's no moonlight, there's no starlight, there's nothing getting in there. And I mean, it was dark. So 30 minutes after the sun went down, here come this sounder of hogs. And I mean, it sounds like you're just rolling a dump truck through there. You know, just turn the motor off, put the thing in neutral, and just let the dump truck. Here come just a literal couple of tons of meat, and they are not quiet about it at all. Bumping into this, bumping into that. So they set in on that big pile of corn. What's funny, so I didn't have any night vision at the time. All I did was put the red light. I mounted a red game light on top of my scope, and then I could click it on. Now those hogs, they always say that the hog's stomach will get it killed. So here I turned that red light on, and you can see those hogs. They were like, oh, what is that? Ooh, this is food. Oh, what is that? Ooh, food. Oh, what is that? They just go through the motions of, I should be scared, but I'm hungry. I should be scared, but I'm hungry. But now the one that I picked, I shot him right here through the neck. Lights out. That is the way to get a hog. You're going to knock out the central nervous system. You're going to go ahead and open him up, start the waterworks, and he is gone before he hits the ground. Of course, I used a load from Black Butterfly. They loaded these up with a Barnes TSX expanding copper round. Now that TSX, it went in right through the neck, and it come out the shoulder and looked like you just took an ice cream scooper. I mean, the exit on that thing was massive. And I think that the expanded projectile hit another hog because another one ran off screaming off into the sunset. And I mean, I'm talking, you didn't hear that thing stop screaming until it was gone. So I think it just put the smack on some sow belly right there. And I'm sure this whole video you've been eyeballing this stock. This is the mod stock from Ranger Point Precision. It currently only fits pistol grip models, but trust me, there is a straight grip model on the way out. What's cool about this is you get your adjustable length of pull by changing out your pads here, and you can change where this nests on your shoulder. So you can loosen these 4 screws right here and change the angle. So if you need to be able to bring your face up to your optic, that is absolutely doable by changing where this sits and dropping the center line of the rifle down. So that works really well. Now, if you're one of those guys that runs a goofy mile-high optic and you need more cheek pad, they'll sell you another. There's a riser. It's very inexpensive. It screws right here to these 2 screw holes. And that riser will give you more cheek weld for the optics that are just too high. I know a lot of guys run AR height optics just because that's either what they have or they got a free mount. That doesn't make it right. But now, what this also gives is a QD spot for a sling, and then this plate, which is optional as well, gives you a spot for a quiver. I've got the 6-round quiver here from Ranger Point Precision. Got another one up here. After a hunting incident last year with some dude that was completely just off the radar mentally, I am going out in the woods with 6 rounds in each quiver and a tube full. So I'm not going to be caught lacking next time. And the single most replayed part of my Space Cowboy video was the sling. Now I'm running a very similar setup. On the Space Cowboy, I'm running the Magpul MS1. This is a Flatline Fiber Company. If we can get that to focus there. Come on now. Boom, Flatline Fiber Company. This is their splatter pattern. Me being an 80s and 90s kid, that splatter pattern was just so appropriate. Now it mounts right here in this QD, and then there's a QD up here on the rail. Of course, I get 2 other QD attachment points on this rail as well. But what's cool about this sling is when it's not in use, you see how it's just up tight against the rifle. Well, if I need it, all I got to do is give her a little rip, and that gives me enough room to get in here, and I can swim up in this. You know, one of the old ways of marksmanship is to be able to wrap that sling around your arm and steady yourself. And boy, I am absolutely steady with this. I freaking love it. Of course, when I don't need it, she just hangs like this. And then when you take it off, get ready to stow it, just whoop, just like that, man, in seconds. So now I hope you've enjoyed looking at this rifle as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I've met some great people, had a great deal of fun with this thing. There's just one thing to be said about 2A people. The 2A people are the best people. You know, I'll go ahead and tell you straight up. We went to the cheerleading competition for my niece. She left her phone laying around. Somebody stole it. We had to do the little find my iPhone thing. And the little girl was scared to death when we found her phone. That phone was screaming from her backpack. She had stolen the phone and got caught by the Find My iPhone feature. Now fast forward to an event a couple of weeks ago. We went to the Naughty After Dark. Opie and the Smokies put it on, and it was a lot of fun. Tons of gun people around. My younger son went with me, and the sun just proved to be just a little bit too much for him. The heat got him, so I set a chair up, put him over in the shade, trying to give him a chance to rehydrate, get to feeling a little bit better before I finally took him home. But now he came and got me, and he says, "I'm not feeling much better, Dad. I'm going to have to leave." And I said, "All right, bud, let's go get that chair." And he says, "I left my phone." And I said, "No, you'll be all right, bud." He says, "No, somebody will steal my phone." I said, "No, gun people are the best people, buddy." Sure enough, we went back, and he says, "Nobody stole my phone." And I said, "Yeah, seriously, gun people are better than cheerleaders." Now, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next video. I love you, and I love Blasphemy.